going on, everybody? This is your favorite below average motovlogger. I just got done getting my haircut, Razor's Edge Barbershop. Did an awesome job. Figured I would go ahead and make a little video on my way home. This video is going to be about the top 5 things a beginner rider should be aware of before they start riding. Just wanted to give my opinion for those who are thinking about riding and have never necessarily ridden before. So number 1, buy a bike that fits your skill level. So obviously this is geared towards the beginner motorcycle riders. So your skill level is going to be beginner. In my opinion, I think getting a 300 or 400cc bike is absolutely perfect for a beginner rider. There's a lot of videos and a lot of information on there, especially on YouTube, that talks about a 600 or a 650 or something like that. Somewhere around the cc of motorcycle is actually a good fit for beginners. And I would have to disagree. I have a 2020 Kawasaki Z400. It has plenty of power. I'm not necessarily a beginner rider, but it has been probably 3 or 4 years since I've ridden a motorcycle, so I wanted to get something smaller that I could really hone my skills on and just become a better rider overall. Speed trap. So yeah, this bike has plenty of power. You don't need really any much more than this if you're trying to learn how to ride a motorcycle. In my opinion, you don't have to buy a brand new 300 or 400cc bike. You can buy a used one, especially if you're just getting into motorcycle riding. Buy a used bike, 100%. Therefore, when you do outgrow this bike, you don't have a lot invested in it. You can feel comfortable about getting this bike without spending a fortune. So a 2020 Z400 MSRP is for around 5 grand, which isn't a lot of money for a motorcycle, but it is compared to a used motorcycle. You can probably find this bike, 2018-2019 model, anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000, which is perfect for a beginner motorcycle rider that isn't wanting to spend a ton of money on a brand new bike, because you're just getting into motorcycling and you're just learning how everything works and to see if you really like it. So that's tip number 1. Buy a bike that fits your skill level. Tip number 2, wear proper gear. I cannot stress this enough. There's so many people out there who choose not to wear gear at all. No helmet, no gloves, no jacket, not even pants. I've seen people riding around with shorts, a tank top, tennis shoes, and like sunglasses. You can be the greatest rider in the world, but it doesn't mean that other people are going to be paying attention to you. And I'll get to another tip that talks more about that. But yeah, wear proper gear. At the very least, buy a helmet. Buy a good helmet that fits you. That is probably the most important gear you can have as a helmet, because that is 100% going to save your life. So Sturgis is actually going on right now. I live in the Black Hills, South Dakota, so it gets extremely hectic around Sturgis time. I did not even go to Sturgis. I rode around the Black Hills, Custer State Park area. Awesome rides, awesome rides. But anyways, it was hot yesterday. It's probably around 93, 94 degrees, and that is extremely hot on a motorcycle because you're just getting beat down by the sun. I had riding pants on, my riding boots, which I always wear, and my gloves, my helmet, and a t-shirt. But there was no way I was going to be riding around without my helmet. I would say about 25% out of the motorcycles that we passed were actually wearing helmets. 25%. It's ridiculous. Yeah, tip number 2, wear proper gear. Tip number 3, take courses and practice the skills that they teach you. This is another very important topic. Take safety courses. It is extremely easy to get a motorcycle license nowadays, even without a motorcycle safety course. The awesome thing is though, if you take a motorcycle safety course, you do not have to take the driver's test when you get a motorcycle license. All you have to do is take the written test to get your permit and then wait the allotted time before you can actually get your license. And the motorcycle safety course counts as a driver's test. You just show them the motorcycle safety course, the card certificate that you get, and you're good to go. I took a motorcycle safety course a couple years ago, got my permit. I got my permit, and I never actually went and got my license. I just kind of rode around my permit, ended up selling my bike. So fast forward a couple years later to pretty much now, I wanted to start riding again, and I thought I was gonna have to take the written test and take all kinds of stuff. So believe it or not, I actually didn't have to take the written test at all. I walked in, showed them my motorcycle safety course card. They looked me up in the system as far as having the permit, and that was it. I got my license. I was actually pretty shocked. So when I took the motorcycle safety course, I learned pretty much the basics of riding a motorcycle. It's the MSF course 1, like beginner ride or something like that. And it teaches you literally from scratch. So that's why I can't stress it enough. If you're a brand new rider, take one of those courses. The majority of beginner courses nowadays, you don't even have to have a bike. You can just go there and ride one of the loaner bikes that they have, and you're good to go. They will teach you from a brand new basic rider perspective. You get on the bike, they teach you how to use the throttle, how to use the clutch, how to use the brakes, and all of that sort of stuff. And don't just learn the skills and never practice it again. Practice the skills that they teach you. Practice emergency braking, practice swerving. What I do is I'll drive down the road, pick a spot, and practice my swerves. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere where there isn't a lot of people, so I can practice these things, and I don't have to worry about somebody, you know, hitting me. Oh, this goes to the Air Force Base. A lot of people do burnouts out here. So tip number 3, take courses and practice those skills that you learn. Tip number 4, never ride faster than your skill level. So what I mean by that is, if you're on a group ride with some people, and let's say you're riding with some more experienced riders, don't try to keep up with the guy who is on a brand new R1 wearing a full race suit. The guy probably knows what he's doing. The guy who obviously has been to tracks, who's taking multiple racing courses, and has been riding for years, you can't try to keep up with them if you're a brand new rider. You're going to end up crashing. The speed at which they're taking corners is going to be a lot faster than you are going to be comfortable handling. So if you fall behind, you fall behind. If you're in a group ride and you have a specific point that you guys are all meeting to, just remember what that point is. If you fall behind, then that's okay. Ride at your pace. Don't push yourself to somebody else's pace just to keep up with them. It's not worth it. It's not worth wrecking your bike. It's not worth getting injured. And it's not worth potentially dying for going off the road, going at speeds that you're not comfortable riding in. If you feel uncomfortable with a certain pace, slow down or find a different group of riders. You want to be in a group who enjoys riding and just enjoys the views. There's plenty of rides, especially out here in the Black Hills, that you could go pretty quick on. You can go pretty fast on. If you're a good rider, you can have a lot of fun out here. But you can also have a lot of fun out here if you're a beginner rider. And that is a 400. Plenty of power, especially for a beginner rider. That's going to be more than enough power for you. So tip number 4, match your pace to your skill level. So tip number 5, and the final tip I have for beginner riders, is to think that you're invisible. Pretend that no one else on the road can actually see where you're at in the road. If someone is pulling out of this driveway right here, they're pulling out, you need to be able to see them from a distance. So pay attention to what is ahead of you. Always be looking at what is ahead of you. But pretend that that rider coming out of that driveway has no idea that you're coming. Just they looked right, they didn't look left, and they're gonna pull right out. So you need to cover your brake. What I mean by covering your brake is just be ready to apply the brakes. So in case that car pulls out, you can slow down. You can apply the brake. So you can prevent yourself from smashing head on into that car. So a perfect example is yesterday when my buddy and I were on that motorcycle ride. We were coming to a stoplight and we were turning left. This bike was behind a truck pulling a trailer. The truck pulling the trailer went through the yellow light. the bike continued to go through the yellow light to turn left as well. He just wanted to beat the light. I guess they're just in a hurry, and the bike continued to follow the truck and the trailer, and the light was green by the time the truck and the trailer went through. Now the cars on the other side coming this way obviously could not see the bike because he was behind the truck and the trailer, and I saw it coming, and luckily this car was paying attention, because as soon as the truck and the trailer moved on, you could see the car coming towards the motorcycle rider, and the motorcycle rider just kind of squeezed by as the car slammed on its brakes. The majority of the time, people are not going to see you. They're not going to look in their blind spots. They're not going to check for a small little skinny motorcycle. They're looking for cars. Obviously, motorcycles, I have plenty of lane choices. I can ride towards the middle of the lane, I can ride towards the outside of the lane, or I could ride in the middle. But you want to make yourself as visible as possible, but still have the mindset that somebody is not going to be able to see you. So yeah, that was the 5 tips I have for beginner riders. I hope that this is going to help somebody, because motorcycle riding is extremely dangerous. And I know a lot of people don't want to admit that, but do your research. You have a lot higher of a chance dying riding a motorcycle than you do just driving a car down the street. And it is mainly because of the things that I just talked about. People buy a bike that is too big for their skill level. People don't wear proper gear. People don't take safety courses or practice swerving or emergency braking. People are riding too fast for their skill level. And ultimately, people are relying on others to see them, and they're relying on this guy to stop because he sees me coming. So yeah, if that video helps you in any way, or you're a beginner rider that is wanting to get into motorcycling, please subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what you think of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Stay safe. See ya.